Hey fish lovers, have you ever walked into a pet store and spotted a beautiful fish with a peaceful, calm demeanor, thinking it would be the perfect addition to your aquarium? But here's the thing. Did you know that some of these peaceful fish can actually become quite problematic under certain conditions? The truth is, while these fish can be amazing in the right setup, in the wrong tank conditions, like small spaces, high stress, or incompatible tank mates, they can turn aggressive or territorial. So, in today's video, I'm going to share which so-called peaceful fish might cause trouble depending on your tank setup. Stick around to learn why these fish might not always be as peaceful as they seem.
Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably all about creating that tranquil, zen-like aquarium, filled with calm fish that coexist in perfect harmony. But the truth is, just because a fish has a peaceful reputation doesn't mean it's always a good match for your tank. In fact, many beginners fall for the peaceful label, only to end up with a stressed-out tank, or worse, dead fish. And while we're all about making our aquariums beautiful, it's just as important to keep your fish safe, happy, and healthy. So, in today's video, I'm going to share the top peaceful fish that could potentially wreck your setup. I'll also share the science behind why these fish might not be as friendly as they seem. Let's kick things off with one of the most classic peaceful fish out there, the freshwater angelfish. I'm sure you've seen them in every aquarium store, those sleek, graceful swimmers with their long, flowing fins. They look peaceful, right? Well, here's the catch. While they can be peaceful, they can also be incredibly territorial, especially as they grow older. When it comes to angelfish, you're dealing with a fish that may not get along with others as it matures. For example, when I first added an angelfish to my tank, I thought it would be the perfect companion for my community setup. But after a few weeks, my angelfish started chasing and bullying my tetris. And let me tell you, nothing destroys a peaceful tank vibe faster than territorial aggression. So while they're beautiful, I'd recommend being cautious and only keeping them with other peaceful fish that can hold their own. Next up, everyone's favorite diva of the aquarium world, the betta fish. Betta fish are often advertised as easy to care for and peaceful, but don't let those vibrant colors fool you. Betta fish are extremely territorial and can be downright aggressive if not housed properly. I've seen so many hobbyists, myself included, who thought they could add a male betta to a community tank only to watch it flare up and start attacking their other fish. Here's an interesting fact. Did you know that male bettas have been known to fight to the death in the wild over territory? That's why you should never keep two males together. Even some females can be aggressive. If you absolutely love bettas, I recommend giving them their own dedicated tank to avoid any issues. Trust me, your other fish will thank you for it. Let's talk about the rainbow shark, or more accurately, the redfin shark. These guys are often labeled as peaceful, but that's only true if you're comparing them to other sharks. Rainbow sharks are known to be very territorial, especially as they mature. They'll patrol their space, and if another fish invades their zone, they won't hesitate to chase it off, sometimes in very aggressive ways. I had a rainbow shark once, and I'll never forget the way it bullied my poor little neon tetris. They had nowhere to hide, and it stressed out my whole tank. Pro tip: if you decide to get a rainbow shark, keep it in a large tank with lots of hiding spots and avoid smaller fish that can't defend themselves. Let's talk about the swordtail. I know, you're probably thinking, but swordtails are peaceful. Well, yes and no. Swordtails are mostly peaceful, but they can become surprisingly aggressive, especially if they're in a tank with other fish they perceive as intruders. The males, in particular, can get territorial around their females, and I've seen them chase each other and nip at fins.
I once had a gorgeous female swordtail who was constantly being harassed by the males in my tank. And while they didn't outright attack, their constant chasing was stressful for the whole tank. So while swordtails can work in a peaceful community tank, just be aware that their behavior can change based on their environment. It's a good idea to keep a good ratio of females to males to keep things calm.
Next up, the goldfish. Yep, I said it. While goldfish are often seen as the ultimate peaceful aquarium addition, they're actually some of the least peaceful fish out there, especially in smaller tanks. Goldfish are messy, grow huge. Some can reach up to 12 inches and need a lot of space to thrive. They can also be quite aggressive with other species, particularly when it comes to eating. If your other fish are small or slow-moving, they may find themselves outcompeted for food. I've had goldfish that were perfectly fine for years in a big tank, but I've also heard horror stories of hobbyists who tried to keep goldfish in a small tank with other species only for chaos to ensue. So, if you're adding a goldfish to your aquarium, make sure it's a large enough tank and consider keeping it with other goldfish, or at least species that won't be outcompeted.
Now let's talk about gouramis. These fish are often labeled as peaceful due to their calm demeanor and beautiful flowing fins. But here's the catch. Gouramis can actually be pretty territorial, especially when they mature. I once had a gorgeous gourami in my tank, and it started bullying my other peaceful fish, like tetras and corridoras. It was almost as if it was claiming the whole tank as its territory. While gouramis can work in some peaceful setups, they're not always as chill as they seem. If you decide to keep one, make sure it's in a tank with plenty of hiding spots and enough space for all the fish to feel secure. Next up is the pearl danio, another fish that is often labeled as peaceful. While these guys are relatively small and colorful, they can get quite nippy, especially when they feel stressed or overcrowded. I've had pearl danios in the past, and while they were fine for the most part, I noticed they would chase other fish, particularly slow-moving species like guppies. This chasing behavior can stress out your tank, and that peaceful vibe you were going for, it might quickly disappear. If you're thinking of adding danios to your tank, make sure you've got enough room and that they're with other active, fast-moving fish that won't get bullied. Now let's talk about piranhas. Okay, before you jump to conclusions, yes, piranhas can technically be labeled as peaceful when they're small and in schools. But in a home aquarium setup, do not be fooled. While they might not be aggressive when they're young, as they grow, piranhas can become increasingly territorial and predatory. And they have those razor-sharp teeth that, once they feel threatened or hungry, will attack. I've seen way too many hobbyists make the mistake of thinking a small school of piranhas will be calm, only to have chaos break out as they mature. Trust me, if you're looking for a peaceful aquarium, this is not the way to go.
Now, before we wrap up, let me hit you with a quick bonus tip. Always research the adult size of the fish you're planning to buy. Many hobbyists make the mistake of buying fish based on how cute they are when they're tiny. But once they grow to their full size, they might not be so peaceful anymore, and you could end up with a tank that's too small for them. Take the peaceful clown loach, for example. They're great when they're small, but they can grow up to 12 inches long and need lots of space to roam. If you're not prepared for that, things could get complicated.
So there you have it, 8 peaceful fish you should seriously reconsider before adding them to your tank. Remember, a peaceful community tank requires more than just picking fish with good intentions. You need to think about the behavior, size, and needs of each species you add. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever made the mistake of adding one of these peaceful fish to your tank? Or maybe you have a great story about a peaceful tank setup that worked for you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. And don't forget to subscribe to Aquatail for more tips, fun facts, and stories from the world of fish keeping. Until next time, keep those tanks peaceful and your fish happy.